Build Your Business listeners. This is Matt Reynolds, your host for the podcast, and you are listening to what we are calling the legacy episodes. And really, these are the pre-episodes that really led to this podcast, the Build Your Business podcast. This is really my life's work and my brother's life's work in building your business. And so they were originally published in the Barbell Logic podcast as part of the Principles or Coaching Success series, but really touch on similar topics to the Build Your Business podcast: how to improve your productivity, how to set and accomplish your goals, deprioritize urgent tasks, to focus on what is most important to you, and most importantly, to become a better person and leader and business owner overall. I'm proud to bring you these podcasts. Again, many years of life's work, several years of podcasts, and several decades of business ownership. Hope you enjoy them and learn from them. You're listening to Barbell Logic,
the podcast where we talk about what it means to experience strength
and how you can use simple, hard, and effective strategies in training and nutrition to improve your life.
It starts with meeting you where you are right now and finding lasting solutions.
Welcome to the show. You're listening to the Barbell Logic podcast. I am your host, Matt Reynolds. This is another episode of the Coaching Success series. And Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas season. I want to talk a little bit today about some of the things that I love to do at the end of the year, which is considering really knowing who you are. What are your core values? What are your core tenets? Things like that. I want to talk a little bit about those things from Barbell Logic and how we approach that, because while I think, and also as a teaser, I think I'm going to have Scott on the podcast soon to talk a little bit of the business side of things with his new podcast, Stupid Tax. And then will also have his accountant on, Mitchell, a few weeks later. So probably start to do some more interview type podcast as well. So some of our favorite people out there who can give you good insight into the business world. And so I'm excited for that. And so one of the things that I've heard them say is that it's not super important to have a business plan in the beginning. And I would agree with that. So in the beginning, your job is to just start finding customers, finding your first customer and getting paid. And you really don't even need to file an LLC or, get an EIN number, any of those things that we talked about in the very earliest episodes before you have paying customers. So the goal there is to find paying customers. As time goes on and you start to build your business a bit, and hopefully as you've listened to this, you've come along that process, you're starting to build your business, you're starting to build your clientele. I think a great time to think about who you are and what your core values are, and even sort of a business plan, is the end of the year. This is great because it's, again, a time when most people aren't doing a lot of work, and you can think about the beginning of next year, which tends to be in January, February, March. Obviously, these are big parts of the cyclical nature of the fitness industry, of the yearly schedule. And so I do think as time goes on, the goal of the business plan is not to go get a loan at a bank or to provide it for investors, but it's for you. It's to come back to it. And these things are some of the most important things that we'll talk about. It's to remind yourself of who you really are. And so I think if you haven't done that and you've worked through all of the podcasts thus far, or you have a decent business or what they call a going concern, then I think it's important to think through those things. And so you don't have to have this level of detail or granularity. Again, as most of you know, we're an 8-year-old business at this point. And so we have a mission statement, a vision. We have our major core tenets, which are primarily internal. We have our core values, which are also primarily internal. And then we have our 6 core principles, which are often external, or at least we try to address those externally. And so I want to talk through that just a little bit, just to give you an example of who we are and what our vision is for our company, and then let you beg, borrow, steal, think about those things. What would you do different? You certainly don't have to do all the things the way we do it. I'll start with our mission statement. Again, I don't think this is really important as you start to build your business, because you don't really know who your target client is, your target demographic. Often you think you're going to start the power washing company and it turns into something else. It's not quite that. Or you think you're going to be the gym owner or the personal trainer, and it turns into something different, an online coach or hybrid model or whatever that is. And so until you start to really understand who you are, this can wait. But once that starts to fall into place, I think it's important to start to identify who you are. And this is not something to be put out necessarily on social media as a sort of shouting from the rooftops or from the soapbox. Again, it's more for you so that when you have to make hard decisions about the business, you can come back to like, okay, who am I? What is my business? What do we do? What's my mission? What's my vision? Things like that. So for us, our mission at Barbell Logic is that we are professional strength and nutrition coaches, giving the world access to personal coaching, educational resources, and opportunities to help others improve their quality of life through strength. Professional strength and nutrition coaches, giving access to personal coaching to the world, providing educational resources, obviously for free, and then opportunities to help others improve their quality of life through strength. That's our mission. That's our goal. Our vision for the future, how do we take that mission and turn it into what this looks like down the road? And for us, it's to redefine traditional personal training by giving the world opportunities to authentically connect with professional coaches so that anyone, anywhere, anytime can experience a life improved by strength. Our goal is to redefine traditional personal training. We think it's broken, and we think that online coaching is better. And again, not that in-person coaching is bad or poor. I do think that traditional personal training out of the big box gym and the 19-year-old kid is terrible, probably. And so we want to redefine that. And as technology advances and we're able to connect clients all over the world with expert coaches all over the world, whether that be directly through Barbell Logic Online Coaching or through TurnKey Coach as a licensee coach, our goal is to create that opportunity to connect clients with professional coaches so that those clients can train anywhere they want, anytime they want with the equipment they have. Coaches can do the same. They can coach from anywhere in the world in an asynchronous manner, and that client experiences a life improved by strength. And so then we take our next step down, and internally, this is something that we've had for at least 5 years, if not more. We have our core tenets, and our core tenets are these 4 things, and they're really in this order. Number 1 is to serve our clients and support our staff and coaches. We want to serve. Serve is number 1. We are a service company, right? We're not a content company. We're not an education company. Like, all those things are important to us, but that's not really how we make our money. We make our money through service. And so we want to serve well, and not just serve our end user Barbell Logic Online Coaching business to consumer clients. We want to serve well our turnkey coaching clients. We want to serve their clients well. We want to support our staff and our coaches well. We want to improve their quality of life by serving them well at Barbell Logic. 2 is to grow our company. Growth is a big piece of this is how you're successful in business. If you provide a really good service with excellent value equation for your clients and your coaches, then your company will grow if you do that well. And so we're constantly looking at growth. It's not growth for the sake of growth or growth for the sake of just money or capital or any of those things, but we believe that we're actually making a difference in people's lives. And so if that's the case, I'd rather make a difference in 10,000 people's lives than 1,000 people's lives. And so it's another tenet for us: grow our company after serve. 3 is to teach our community. Teaching for us, this amount of content that we put out, the podcast, the YouTube videos, the written articles, the eBooks, the guest spots on other podcasts or YouTube channels or whatnot. That's the way we're able to teach our community, and that's free. And certainly 99% of it is free. That's how we establish ourselves as experts in the field. Again, I've talked several times. I've got an upcoming podcast that's going to be called Content is King. And it's really going to talk about not just putting out content, but the consistency of the content. So a little teaser there. The consistency of content is king. If you're able to do this every day, every week for 5, 6, 7 years, not for 6 months, that is how you get people into the funnel to recognize you as an expert in your field. And a percentage of those people will drive down the funnel and become paying clients. And so number 1 for us, again, is serve. Number 2 is to grow our company. Number 3 is to teach our community. And 4th is to steward our resources And that's just because we want to steward those well. We don't want to spend frivolously. And at the same time, we don't want to be such misers that we can't grow our company. And so that steward portion really comes back and impacts all of the other things. And so we have to, you might imagine, we spend quite a bit of money on building and making content, hiring great teams for content creators and podcast producers and videographers and post-production video teams and copy editors, copywriters, all those things. That costs some money, but we understand the value of that. So it all comes back to those 4 tenets of serve, grow, teach, steward. And that's really internal. We don't talk about that a lot publicly, but that's something that we're constantly coming back to in the business. And then we go from there to our primary core values, which when we first started the business, we had 10 or 12 and they were all important, but we've been able to sum those up really with 3 primary core values in the company. Again, this is primarily internal, but we hope that the world sees this in us, not because we say it and not because we print it and not because we post it on social media, not because we make it a poster on the wall, but because we actually live it. So our number 1 core value is growth. And it's not business growth specifically, right? It's as individuals and as a company, we believe in growth through setting goals, tracking progress, and demonstrating success. We are in a constant, never-ending pursuit of knowledge, trying to grow at a personal level in our wisdom and education, trying to grow as trainees. Obviously, we all train, trying to grow as coaches, trying to grow as a company to continue to provide more and more value to our clients. And so growth is our number 1 core value. 2, connection. And this is the thing that I think really separates Barbell Logic from many other online coaching companies. Coaching, and especially for what we do, online coaching, is a window into people's lives. So we value authentic interactions and real relationships with everyone who trusts us enough to open that window. Connection is key. Connection is the reason that clients stay. It's not about the programming. It's not about the template. It's not. It's about the connection that you make with your clients. And so, or the connection you make with your staff, or the connection you make with really everyone in your community, even the connection that we make with those of you who are listening, who are just content consumers who have never spent $1 with Barbell Logic. That connection is really important to us and we take it very seriously. And third, and this cannot be overstated, the importance of consistency. Consistency is our 3rd core value. Trust and consistency are at the heart of our professionalism. Every interaction that we have is an opportunity to build trust, and we hold ourselves accountable to the expectations we set. So our major core values in the company are growth, connection, and consistency. I want to be clear that that growth is not about just seeing like top line revenue growth. That's fun and that's great, but that's not really what this is talking about. This is about personal growth. Growth as a coach, growth as a person, growth in your knowledge, growth in your ability to interact and connect and do even the other things well. And then we take that and we step down even more and we say, okay, well, what does that look like to the client? So if the client come back and say, well, these are the things that Barbell Logic does well, these are our goals, and I think we do them well. We're never fully satisfied, honestly, never fully satisfied with any of these things. But this is really our 6 core principles then that we try to take in the trenches and provide to our clients. So this is more of you statements, right, to a potential client. So our 6 core principles, number 1 is to help you improve your quality of life by experiencing strength through voluntary hardship. To help you improve your quality of life by experiencing strength, right? Obviously through voluntary hardship. 2, to meet you right where you are in your journey. We know people don't come and sign up when they're in a great place. They're often in a struggle bus, right? They're in an emotional, tough place. We've talked about that before. So to meet you right where you are in your journey and help you get measurably better each day. We do not care where you start. We care about you, but it doesn't matter to us if you come in with a 400-pound squat or an empty bar squat. That part doesn't matter. We know that if we can get you better every day, you're going to get strong. So to meet you right where you are in your journey, help you get measurably better each day through minimum effective dose changes and tracking PRs, because PRs matter. And again, TurnKey Coach does such a great job of automating those PRs. 3, finding solutions to your struggles that are simple, hard, and effective. It doesn't have to be complicated, right? We can be effective and efficacious in finding our solutions to the struggles that our clients face that are simple, hard, and effective. They're simple, they're not easy. They're simple and hard. Simple and hard equals effective, right? 4, wowing our customers or wowing you with world-class service and personal professional coaching. That should easily understood, right? 5, building trust along the way through our ability, showing we can, our integrity, showing we will, and our benevolence, showing we care. Building trust with our clients along the way through our ability, integrity, and benevolence. And finally, coaching you, our client, with models informed by science, but applied practically to your real life and helping you find the right balance between the two. You can't learn how to do this all in a textbook. Textbooks help, the studies help, they inform us with science. We learn more and more about what causes hypertrophy or, strength gains or right recovery looks like and things like that. That's all important, but we also want to make sure we strike the right balance between the models informed by science and real life, because humans are not a science experiment, right? So while that minimum effective dose applies a scientific method, at the same time, you understand that the person is not the constant, right? The person is actually quite variable because of the changes that occur in their life, the stress that they're going through, the lack of sleep, the extra sleep, whatever those things are, the weight gain, the weight loss. And so finding the right balance between practical real life application and models informed by science are extremely important. So those are our 6 core principles. Now, here's the key, is that TurnKey Coach, the software platform, was built around this mission, vision, tenets, values, and principles. Because again, it wasn't ever meant to go into the market. It was made for us. And so while your mission, vision, tenets, values, and principles, and you don't have to have all those, but all of those sorts of things that make you who you are, while they may vary slightly from ours, our guess is that you will identify with these core standards and thus be able to leverage TKC as a professional coach with a platform and system that will best meet the needs of your clients and align with your values, because they're probably not way off. And in fact, if as you hear our mission, vision, tenets, values, and principles, if you're like, that's not at all who I am in any way, shape, or form, then TurnKey Coach is probably not for you. But if it is, and you're trying to create those connections, and you're trying to wow your clients with customer service, you're trying to do those things, right? You're trying to serve well and grow your company and focus on personal growth and teach as much as you can with excellent content, all of those things, then TurnKey Coach is a great option for you because it's specifically designed to meet those needs. So if you haven't considered them, here we are in late or mid-December, now is a great time to do so, right? To identify who you truly are, how to best apply these values in the way that you coach. And we are working hard on our side to make TKC as simple and effective as possible for you to help carry those core values and tenets and principles to your clients. This is what I love about TurnKey Coach. Again, I realize every episode of this has got a little bit of what feels like an advertisement for TurnKey Coach, but the team has done such an incredible job of taking who we are and what we do and really designing the platform around that. And so if you're not somebody who cares about providing excellent service or excellent coaching or building trust with your clients or those sorts of things, like the software is probably not for you, right? Like just use a Google Sheet and send somebody a program and sell a program for $40. But that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to provide real, actual coaching at an online level that feels not just as good as in-person coaching, but even because of the freedom it allows both the client and the coach, because of the economic advantage it gives both the client and the coach, that it's cheaper for the client than in-person coaching because the coach makes more money per hour significantly than in-person coaching. Then we've created this software and this platform that helps speak to all of those things, to the tenets and the values and the goals and the principles that you're trying to do, with a constant focus coming back to the mission and vision of who you are. So as we've had to make hard decisions throughout the business, these are the things we come back to. And we say, is this who we are? As we try to make a hard decision, if we have an opportunity to acquire a company, or we've got to make a hard decision about a staff member, or hiring a new staff member, or switching positions, or we come back to this and we say, is this who we are? As we start to add a new service or new product, we say, is this who we are? Does this speak to who we are and who our core values are? And so if you haven't done this, I would just tell you, just start a list on your notepad on your phone. It's not that easy to just sit down and knock these out in like a single Pomodoro. What I would say is take a few days, make a list on your phone as you come up with things that matter to you. Just list them in no particular order. And then once you have a decent list going, then you can sit down and knock out a couple Pomodoros of 25 minutes or so of undistracted work and sit down and say, okay, this is who I am, and this is how I'm going to distinguish myself. This is who I am in the field. This is who I'm trying to be, both now and the vision for the future, what that might look like for me. Maybe that vision is to be able to leave your corporate job and do this full time, or to, go from being in the gym 50 hours a week for the gym that you own to 10 hours a week, and move many of your clients to a hybrid model or online model, like whatever that is. Those are all parts of the vision, like in speaking to specific demographics. Like there's probably demographics that you hone in on, and where your bread and butter is, the ones that respond well to your coaching. And, there are hundreds of those different demographics that you could approach. And so I do think it's really important this time of year, at the end of the year, to really know who you are, what your core values are, what are the things you stand on, where do you plant your flag, and that'll help you make decisions in the future for where you're trying to go as you make these tough business decisions in the future. And I think it'll give you a lot of peace moving into 2024. So that is another episode of the Coaching Success Series. We've got some fun changes coming up in the new year. Again, going to interview some really cool people that I think will bring a lot of value to you as well. So it's not just me preaching these core values and tenets and principles and business ideas, but I have been blessed to know a lot of people who know a lot about this stuff. And so I'd like to bring some of them on over the next year, over 2024, and give them opportunity to speak to this as well, because there's a lot of lessons to be learned, not just for you, but for me as well. I always get a ton of value out of having those conversations with my mentors in the business world. So if you've had value out of this, or you've gotten value out of the podcast, we would absolutely love a 5-star review. It's a huge honor for us, for Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Apple's the big one, because that's really the one that helps drive the algorithm and the ranking. And so if you haven't done that, give us a 5-star review, say a few nice words. It takes less than 30 seconds. That would be a huge help to us. Tell a friend or family member about the podcast. If the family member or friend is just a lifter, those Tuesday episodes with Nikki and Andrew are absolutely awesome. If someone is in that business world, or coach, or an up and coming coach, or they're trying to grow their coaching business, or even just their regular business, hopefully these Friday episodes bring you value as well. Boy, I hope you have a great Christmas. I'll talk to you once or twice before then. And so enjoy the holiday season with your family, and I'll see you next Friday.